You're listening to Well, I Laughed, Part 1 of Down to Business, Worth Fighting For. Now we're recording.
Now we are?
Now we're recording.
Fun.
Are we recording?
I think we're recording.
Do you think we're recording? If you think we're recording, we're probably recording.
Here's the thing, I'm just sipping on this Aperol Spritz because it's been a day, and I'm really enjoying it right now.
Listen to the fucking
Talk to me.
crowd.
Talk to me.
I don't even know where my iPad is. And I actually do need that.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Heck.
I can't get on my phone because I've already put my screen time limitations, and I don't want to burn my later social media time, so I'm just going to sit.
Wow, this is going to be weird.
It's going to be really weird for all of us.
That's fun.
I might start walking around with a book. I know. No, reading's good, and I actually don't get a chance to do a lot of it. Oh, speaking of reading, I'm full of stories, okay? So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I am in grad
school. No one.
I'm in grad school, and today finished my first 3 courses. It was wonderful. It was a lot. There was basically no time for personal reading. The completion of it is why we are, a lot of people have said they hate this, but like ding, ding, ding.
Well, I
Aperols.
changed our coasters to not be the stone ones, so they won't have that. And the straws that we're using are not metal, so hopefully the only thing they would hear is the ice in the glass.
You have made a lot of conscious choices to help out our listeners.
Thank you.
You're really good at this.
So anyways,
no, you're fantastic. Okay. And also, my next 2 classes that I'm taking for grad school don't have to buy the textbook for, and we love that.
That's so nice.
You know what's actually so crazy?
What?
How much information is in the syllabus.
Yeah, that's pretty real.
I do not think that I appreciated that when I was in college. And I know that that's something that I could get better at as a classroom teacher. But like even still at the high school level, like a super detailed syllabus is kind of unique. Yeah. They're actually super helpful, as it turns out. Like for instance, it tells you if you need to buy the textbook or not.
That is quite nice.
I know.
What class do you not have to buy a textbook for?
The next 2.
Oh, I was thinking that it was
Seminar
like...
in interpersonal communication and communication education.
Well, that's nice. I just figured it was like you already read it or you already had it or something like that.
Well, so for the communication education class, there's actually a little song to it. Get connected for free at communication education. Get connected. You know what song I'm mimicking right now?
I don't need to.
At Education Connection, get connected for free. It's at if you do not start singing this back to me right now. No, it was like that commercial in 2010, 2011. I think it was about like scholarships.
Cool. You know
you
what?
You could get connected for free at Education Connection.
Okay.
Right in. I'm not crazy. You can even find if you find the video.
Okay, well,
that'd
in
be
2010,
awesome.
I was like in 7th grade, so.
Any other hate crimes you want to just go ahead and lay on this table right now?
You're bald.
Listen, I came to your terrarium of a house today.
Okay, leave. Bye.
We've already rescheduled once. I was afraid. I was afraid to be like, oh, maybe we just wait until it's cold.
Yesterday would have been worse.
I leave soon, so I have to do it now.
Yeah, Grant leaves on Monday, and if we don't record 2
for
episodes...
For a road trip, I will be back.
He will be back. Leaves forever on Monday.
Imagine?
And we need to record 2 episodes before he leaves, so here we are.
Because fun fact, turns out, hold on, wait for it, I'm going to be gone 12 days. I'm so excited for it. What is that face?
When are we going to record again?
Well, that's what we're doing today and tomorrow. And
when do you get back, actually?
So remember when we're going to go wedding dress shopping? Probably about midnight, right before then.
We have to record 2 episodes again the week after.
Yeah, because then I'm going to the Grand Tetons.
I'm going to fucking kill you.
It's summer.
I know. I thought you would have more free time.
Listen, with love.
Instead, you started a master's program.
That was with love. Listen, my job is what keeps me here, like physically.
Y'all, this is the reason. Actually, now I realize that we can't get successful because you'll leave. The second we start making enough money, you're just going to be like, okay, bye.
What? No, I'm here for it. Yeah, we have a new merch line that we're about to launch. I'm super excited about it. I did like 80% of the work for that. I'm super excited for it. And I'll definitely have a story ready for us to record tomorrow. And then we got the Renaissance Festival on Sunday. And then I have to drive up to Glacier and then Vancouver and then probably Oregon and the Redwoods before jetting over. I might go to Bald Mountain and Great Basin. What? What were you going to say?
I'm so sick of you. With like the most love. Maddie, my friend Maddie that you've met.
Yes, and who I love.
Yes, it has family in Montana.
Oh, fun.
So I mentioned to her that you should ask her that.
Do you know what part of Montana?
I'm not sure. I know that her parents, I think, have been to Glacier like a bunch.
Oh, dope.
They have a house up there for Big Sky.
Cool. We, Lydia is doing the first part of the road trip with me. And then I'm going to just absolutely get lost in the wilderness. Honestly, I think I've told that story. The time I went hitchhiking through the desert, I've told that story.
I think
so. Yeah.
I'm
kind of trying to recreate those vibes a little bit. Or that darling little cabin on the north rim of the Grand Canyon during that trip, trying to recreate that
So
vibe.
if I get like a spidey sense that something's wrong in the next like 2 weeks, I'm probably right.
Also, I mean, like...
And also, you won't have cell reception, so
okay,
there's
but that
nothing I
didn't
can do
stop
about
you
it.
from finding out yesterday I was on a hike. Okay, listener, because we've just been having our own little side conversation for the last who knows how long. Yesterday, Maia sent me a question that was like fairly time sensitive, but she sent it to me after I'd already started the hike, and so then she sent a question mark, and when I still hadn't responded, then she had checked my location, because we're besties in that way, and then I like truly cackled seeing each text message come in one after the other when I turned my phone back on, because your last one was, oh, sorry, I see you're on a hike. Okay, I'll ask you later.
The question was, can we actually push recording to tomorrow? And then once I realized he was on a hike and didn't have cell service, and I was at a crossroads. I either had two options. I could finish researching my story, which I didn't really want to do, or I could quit and just assume Grant's gonna be okay with it. So like 4 hours later when Grant's like, LOL, yep, that's fine. I was like, good, because if you had said no, we wouldn't have been able to do it anyway.
We're just gonna double record next day.
Because I don't have a story ready.
No, it was like, I got back to my car and I was like, oh, well, just past 5, a little bit later than I had kind of meant to.
Yeah.
In my defense, I had probably written 10,000 words this week, bare minimum. So I'd gotten to the trail later than I thought I was going to. And I was like, oh man, gotta like get home, shower, grab whatever is in the fridge, like a mandarin orange and a raw onion, and then get myself downtown and oh, sweet, I don't have to. But what do I want for dinner now? It's fine. A rotisserie chicken. I always want a rotisserie chicken.
That's super fair.
Yeah, those great little leftovers today.
I had a photo shoot today.
Yes, model Maia. Oh, I have something fun to tell you. Go ahead. What are you going to say with your words, though? Sorry. No, go ahead.
Well, now I'm worried.
No, don't know. It's funny. Go ahead. You're a model? Model Maia?
I modeled this morning for a pool photo shoot, which was super cute. I also got a spray tan for said photo
Did you get it in the hole?
shoot.
8-ball pool?
If you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing a lot right now. Hey, Grant's already halfway done with his bike.
It is like with love actually like so warm in here. In 8 minutes we're gonna pause and I'm gonna get a huge, those Dickies barbecue glasses, those yellow ones. Just fill one of those with water.
That's actually from Which,
but good at a pool.
I was at a pool, and it was a styled shoot to model. It was supposed to be the spray tans. But like that ended up being weird. I still got a spray tan. It was supposed to be the spray tans and then the location, which is like an Airbnb for pools, basically, which was actually really cute. And then like this company that does picnics, Colorado Luxe Picnics, and they're actually super, super cool. But I got to wear like this cute little bathing suit. I had to do my own hair, which kind of sucked. But anyway, it was hot as hell, and there were 3 photographers, right? And at the end, we were saving getting into the pool to the end, which was torture because it was like 90 degrees.
It's blazing hot.
It was so hot that like we couldn't actually sit next to the pool without like one of the models. I like pointed out to her. I was like, Sophie, your butt's red because she had been sitting on like a rock. And I think she burned it on the concrete. Oof. And anyway, at the end, we did some shots like in the pool, and then one of the photographers was like, I really want to get a shot of someone being pushed in the pool, and all the models just kind of looked at each other with like our really good makeup and like hair really well done and false eyelashes on, and we're like, do you want to do it? No, do you want to do it?
Is there all like hairspray?
Yeah, we're all like, and I was like, I'll do it. And then they were like...
Because that means the shoot's done for you.
It's done for everyone.
Oh,
it was
okay.
like the last thing. And so I got out of the pool and I was like, do you want my hair down? Because I had it in like a ponytail.
Right.
And they were like, it doesn't really need to. Plus you can just jump in at the shallow end so you don't actually have to fully dunk. And I was like, no, if I'm doing this,
I'm doing
this.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I took out all 25 bobby pins or whatever. And I also put fake nails on, which I usually do for photo shoots, and usually they last like a week and a half afterwards. They're just press-ons. These nails, I don't know what was wrong with them, who hurt them in a past life.
The heat probably undid all the glue.
Maybe, but they I put them on in the morning and I did all the same stuff I usually do, and by the time I got to that point, I had already lost like 4 nails.
Just like a crazy hot Miss Haversham.
Like, what's happening?
Do you know
right
who Miss
now?
Haversham is?
The name sounds really familiar.
The lady
and
who
I
got
can't.
left on her wedding day and then never changed out of her wedding dress again.
Yes,
It's
I
like,
do know.
yeah, hello, my child.
So anyway, there should be some fun photos of me
Fun.
getting pushed into a pool at some point soon, which was
Was it a
fun.
cool location?
It was a cool little spot.
Nice.
The last shot that one of the photographers wanted was like me swimming like under the water, and he got like on a ladder and like shot from above.
Smells like Teen Spirit kind of action.
Yeah, which was
right?
like cool. And then I came out of the water and something was on my cheek, and I just pulled it off, and it's an eyelash. And I was like, okay, well these are done.
Okay, Bridgerton. Sorry, that feels like just like a hot little moment.
But I had previously like bright blue eyeliner, and it all washed away, so I'm sad, but it's fine.
That's wonderful.
The things I do for love.
The things you do for incredible photos of yourself. Listen, I can't
I really
wait.
do anything.
You know, a lot of us are like taking like 4 good photos a year. We're taking more than 4 photos, but we get like 4 a year that you're like,
Yeah, that you like,
was it.
though. Yeah.
It was the lighting was right, and
Yeah.
all it had that morning was coffee, and look at how tan I am, right? Like, you are getting those like every weekend. This is going to be a period in your life where you are so
I'm following
documented.
Moira Rose's advice.
Take 100 naked photos of yourself right now.
Really, a couple of the photographers that I'm friends with now are boudoir photographers, so I'm really tempted to just be like, hey.
Oh, I'm too scary. No one's going to want to see these boobies.
So I just want to do that. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I had other stories. I took the dogs on a walk today.
Yeah.
And these are the things that I saw.
In your like gorgeous downtown neighborhood.
Gorgeous little downtown neighborhood.
A neighborhood who, when I rolled up today, I was like, oh, great, there's an event. And then I was like, oh, it's a Friday in the
Friday.
summer.
Yep.
I'm dumb.
Yep.
So,
When I checked your location when you were like really close to the house, and I was like, if you had parked and were walking up, I was like, oh, he's gonna beat me there.
No.
And then I saw you like go around the corner, and I was like, he's looking for parking.
100%. I moved from a place that was definitely legal to park at to a place that questionably legal to park at, but
If it's
not
questionable,
like,
then you can
totally
defend
fine.
it.
I'm obviously not the only one in that spot. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anyways, what did you see?
I walked past a brewery and looked to my right and saw 2 men measuring each other's wrists with their feet.
And I'd like to know what's so wrong with that.
I was like, what could you possibly be doing right now? They were very serious.
No, here's the thing. My wrists are actually insanely big.
And mine are really small.
Oh my God, I could, as I like to say in the Big Fat Greek Wedding, I could snap you like a chicken.
Yes, please do. Actually.
That's actually been the tough thing about grad school this summer. I have not watched nearly as many rom-coms as I meant to. Thank you for sympathizing with my plight.
That was a fake. That was facetious.
I don't know.
It was
Looked
a
real.
Facetious little pout.
I know enough communication theories to justify that as being real sympathy. I'm so annoying when I go to school. I'm just kind of always annoying, and now I have like a new little bit that I love to do. Speaking of going to school, the exciting thing I was going to tell you, and I think I casually told you one night when we were out all together, and I was like, that's consent. I wrote, so you know legally, the name of this whole operation?
Yes.
Right, I now have a 12-page crisis communication plan. If you're curious about it, there is a place for affidavits for you to sign as president of MWM, if you would
LLC.
like. Correct.
Yeah,
That's why I was
absolutely.
like, Maya model Maya. I was like, wait, hold on a second. This sounds very similar to something that I wrote about
Something else.
yesterday.
My all-encompassing media company that may or may not be legal with the IRS because I am operating so many businesses.
Certainly
underneath
not something that I mentioned in my crisis communication plan,
Yeah.
but extra funny was the fact that I then needed to name employees and could not name myself. I mean, it didn't
Could have
say
named Casey.
I did name Casey. And I gave him a promotion to head editor.
Okay, that's really fucked up.
You're going to be president,
That's
CEO,
really
and head
fucked up.
editor.
Yes, I can,
Listen,
because I
on
am.
the affidavit line, I arise to content creator, which it goes president and CEO, you, head editor, graphic designer, then me. I'm 5th on the call sheet, and there's 2 empty spots in front
I am
of
the
me.
graphic designer, the head editor, and the content
If you want to sign
creator.
all the lines, that's fine.
I really do.
I actually got a remarkably good grade on the
I'm really excited for you.
Great writer.
It's so funny.
It was actually so
I do
crazy.
now need to read it.
So much of it just felt like fiction writing because I was like, what could possibly befall this digital media company? And I had to keep being like, our digital media products and our podcast division. Because I'm like,
podcast division,
which is,
yes.
you know,
I
the
mean, it's
main
true.
division.
Really is. I barely do anything on the other ones.
So yeah, no, pretty good
Excellent.
good stuff. Honestly, like experts have been like, yeah, this would work. So
I love that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It always cracks me up because I'm logged into all of my Instagram accounts at the same time, so I get notifications for all of them most of the time.
literally could not.
And
be
most of
me.
the time just like swipe and clear them. But it's really funny if like one person, like a new follower, is going through and following us because they'll follow while I laughed, and then they'll follow my personal account, and then I see them follow. If they're really into it, they'll follow my design account and Mo and Bowser, and I'm like, you just
should
follow
text
2
me
accounts
to
that are
see
dead.
if I get followed, just to be
Yeah,
like
probably.
confirm, deny. Shoot, no, what was I gonna say? Something about that. Oh, right. So we talked about this briefly on an earlier episode.
Yes.
Also, I listened to the eco defense episode.
Yeah.
And we just yapped for 45 minutes.
Yep.
I think we missed each other or something. That's not the plan for this episode, but who's to say?
We
Who
also
knows?
haven't seen each other in a week again, so I don't know who we
You know
are
what I thought the
kidding.
other day? Oh God, that's a Patreon story. But last time I saw Tyler. Anyways, sorry, I gotta kind of come back to the story that I was gonna share, which was about.
Ba-doop, boop, boop.
Nope, hold on. There it is. Found it. Never forget a good story. I have fully adopted receiving hour into my life.
Yes, we did
And I think
mention
you're
that.
kind of casually aware of that, but I just
Yeah.
want you guys all to know I have hard launched it. I am on basically a 1 to 3 business day response reply on dating apps at this point.
Can I not be included in that as your business partner?
Just every time you then put a question mark on a message you've
Yeah.
already sent me, that's how I know.
Oh, okay, cool.
I gotta respond to
Excellent.
it right away.
It's just me being curious and saying like, hey, hello, I know you're at home.
And then I'm like, she's mad at me. So
I'm never mad. I just want an answer because it's probably keeping me from doing
asked
something
me
else.
to text 2 people, and I ever said like, "Yep, for sure, we'll definitely text them directly." And then I put my phone down, and 35 minutes later, I was like, "Just text them." So I'm trying to get better
I
at
do
it.
that too.
But I'm also only going to be good for about an hour every day.
That's what I
Give
did
or
with the
take.
horseback riding people. I kept
Nice.
being like, text him, and then just like, next day, Maya, you should text, and then just. It's an anxiety response. Anyway,
By the time this episode's live, which is going to be,
I don't know.
it's definitely not this Wednesday.
No.
Is it next Wednesday?
Because this Wednesday is the listener episode.
Oh, so then it's next Wednesday.
Yeah, so it
Then
is
we
next
will
Wednesday.
be back from
Yeah.
Vancouver. Are you excited for your bachelorette party?
Next Wednesday? Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I got confused. Yes,
What
I
did-
am
what did-
very excited.
Because we just
No, you're
published
right.
Scott Peterson, right? Yeah.
Yep.
What are you most excited about?
I don't know.
Friendship, correct. Kidding.
Truly, I am actually really proud of myself because I am so type A that a lot of times I cannot not be part of the planning process. But I think because in my head I had handed this off to Grant before I even picked a destination, that my brain is just like, that's him. You know,
You've also been like pretty clear as to what you want to do.
I mean,
it's been a wonderfully easy thing to
I've
plan
been
so
telling you
far.
what I don't want.
Right, which was what is it that you don't want?
Never mind, we can talk about it.
No. I'm going to need to know.
No, I don't actually think there is anything I don't want. I don't
Okay.
want to be like hammered at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. every night.
Thank you for finishing the sentence. Okay, that's all we really needed to know. You got my packing list.
I did get your packing
Yeah,
list,
yeah.
which was very helpful and also super convenient because I did just buy a white swimsuit, just
Just by chance.
purely like, I might need this.
Sure.
And then you sent the list and I was like, yes.
Go ahead and pack some waterproof makeup, okay?
I don't know that I own that.
We're gonna make her cry. No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding.
I do that by myself. You don't need to make me.
But there's a pool at the hot tub, and
Okay,
Lydia and I
cool.
are swimmers.
No, that's fair. I get it. Apparently I am. Today is the first time I've gotten my hair wet with chlorine in like years.
What?
Yeah. It's really bad for your hair.
Sure. I mean, not that that's a huge pressing issue for me.
Well, maybe that's why you don't have any.
Listen, my friend Sam, the one from Texas,
Yeah.
stayed over the other day, and we were chatting, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, like, help yourself to whatever's in the house. Unfortunately, I don't have any shampoo that you can use.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's fine. Like, I'll just use whatever cheap stuff. I go, no, I don't have,
I literally
any
don't
shampoo.
have any.
Here, I have a couple of feminine products. Like, I'm considerate, but I just don't have shampoo in the house. And it took her a second. And people always forget, and I think it's kind of wonderful.
You know who doesn't forget? Casey.
Casey never forgets.
Casey, when we were lost one time looking for you at Pride, was like, "Where's the bald head?"
Yes.
Tell Grant to take his hat off.
Yes.
I mean,
that's how Danny found us. You
Yep.
know that, right?
Yes, I do.
I was sitting next to Casey when Casey was on the phone with Danny, and Casey went, "Grant, take your hat off," and they go, "Yep." Listen, when the Uber or Lyft pulls up at the airport, I have to take my hat off, like I'm some like newsie or whatever in like the 1890s. But no, that's how they're like, "Oh, bald." You know,
I mean, that's
otherwise
fair.
I just look like every other generic white guy. I mean, that's not true. My beard is amazing, but
it's well kept. That's how you know he's not straight.
That's how you know I'm also not gross. You know.
You know the other fun thing that happened to me recently? Casey's mother, Michelle, offered to plan my dress shopping.
Did she? Are you gonna let her?
Yeah, she already started.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's what happened. She kept asking Casey questions to ask me, and I kept being like asking like, what does she want here? And then Casey was like, I think she would like to help you. She just doesn't want to be too pushy. And I was like,
right.
push away, babe. I am not here
Haven't
anymore.
planned your dress shopping. Haven't planned your bachelorette party.
I know.
It's a whole new weird leaf that
It
you're
is.
showing.
I was playing a game with Maddie a couple nights ago. She came over for like a drink, and we played like a cute little board game, and there was something where I was mad at her for making a certain move. She was like, well, it's not all about you. And I was like, what are the next big events on your calendar, Maddie? Go ahead and tell me.
Wow. I hope you didn't call the police for the murder you committed. Turn yourself in.
She laughed really hard. I also realized I can do this sound. No! Sounds like Toad falling off Rainbow Road in Mario Kart. It's been a really long week.
No, because when I'm teaching and a high school boy does that to me, sure, it's weird, but it's like expected, right? It's like I can smell the axe as they're doing it, you know? And I'm like, y'all are just going through puberty and your voices are so weird that of course you're like figuring out what sounds you can make. You, Maia, are a 26-year-old woman.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
What part of that was factually inaccurate?
None of it. That's why you gotta watch your mouth. Oh no.
Sorry, as he would say, or whatever sound.
No.
It comes from such a specific. This is.
I'm pretty sure it's my like vibrato
I
that
know
I'm just like.
for a fact they're like plus 15, plus 15, plus 15. Is someone gonna die in this episode? Plus 15. I'm actually really curious as to what's gonna happen this episode.
Yeah.
I'm out of stories insofar as I have to have more stories to share tomorrow.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Actually, hold on. Before I say that, I have a lot of boomer tendencies.
Oh, sorry. We have one more thing too.
Okay, you can just do that now that I'm checking my notes.
This came while you were
What is
gone,
this?
shortly after you left,
For
and
Speech Nationals?
yeah, I think so.
It was a great
And
time, by the way.
I just decided I didn't want a box laying around, so I opened it. So I know what's in it.
You're always welcome to open it. You don't have to be like, and I found it like at the fire station.
No, I already fully opened it,
Okay.
which you will see, but I wanted you to have the experience
Thank
as
you.
well.
What? Is there more tea? Shut up! I'm running out.
So
I actually
this-
thought about that the other day. I was like, we need to do more because that tea is delicious.
Yeah.
And I just finished the last
This
of my
is
chai.
from our friend A. I don't actually remember if we ever got their permission to say their name, but
But obviously, we love you because I
Yes.
recognized it right away.
yeah, absolutely. I think these are little stickers or something. They say,
stickers
"Hey, you
attached
two,
to
no
it.
idea how hot it got on your end.
Oh
New
my
York
God.
City's
Literally melting.
grossly humid these days. Happy Pride, though." And then one of the teas That one's an iced tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a tea in here called the Earl of Stonewall, which is related to the
Stonewall Inn?
Yeah. And it's also one of...
Not Stonewall Jackson, the Confederate General.
Yeah. And it's one of their favorites. Let me know if it's yours,
It's an
too.
iced tea collection? Get out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how to split that up.
Listen.
And that's the Earl of Stonewall, I think.
No, I'm so touched. I'm so thrilled about this. I think I told you a couple days ago, maybe, I don't know. With Pride, I've had just so many conversations with so many people, but I am trying to drink more hot beverages.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned,
in
yeah.
general. I think it's probably good for my digestion.
I think it is,
too.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna finish this first. So I'm super excited about the tea. Finished. I had my first ever Uncrustable at Nationals.
I was so scared about what you were going to say next.
Have you ever?
There are game changers.
Here's the thing. So I love, this is like a 10-second story.
You can buy a huge box of them from
I
Costco,
have.
frozen.
What?
And then for like, if you go skiing or something, not saying that everyone does, but you take them out of the freezer, put them in your little pockets, and they warm up, and they're perfect by the time it's lunch.
Okay, so huge timeout. Okay, this 30-second story is now like 90 seconds, but it's going to come at you real fast. So I'm at the Speech and Debate National Tournament.
Yes.
It's a good time. It's also a huge tournament, and it's like to a certain degree, it helps fund the National Association for another year. So they're not spending a lot of money on hospitality, right? In fact, hospitality, again with love, ride or die for the NSDA. Hospitality is usually awful. It's like the worst coffee you have ever had in your entire life.
Like really burnt.
Right, water in the shade of lemonade.
Yes.
1 year it was just granola bars. I don't blame anyone. We got ourselves there. We can buy ourselves little treats, right?
I agree.
I now buy a huge thing of iced coffee the night before the tournament, like at a local grocery store.
Yes, that's a move.
This year, though, they had Uncrustables, and I had never had one, and it's like already sealed, and I was on my way to a round. So I was like, oh, actually, this is kind of perfect. Like, wow, okay, cool. Like, bite into it. The perfect balance
it's like the moment
of everything.
from Ratatouille where he eats the mixture of things and it's just dark and there's all these.
And it was this moment, too, where I was like, I'm about to go judge this national semifinal round. So my brain can't rest on this forever. I need to be, like, cognitively focused.
Yeah.
But I'm going to circle back to this one. And I did the Monday after Pride weekend.
You bought a whole thing of
I bought a
Uncrustables.
10-pack. They're $1 a sandwich? Are you kidding me?
The thing from Costco is like this big.
But how many sandwiches are in it?
Oh, probably like 50.
How much is it?
I don't know. I haven't bought it.
Because the
Someone
thing
else
at King
bought it.
Soopers was basically like 10 for 10.
It's probably cheaper.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, so I'm just now going to lose the house?
Yeah. Yeah.
They are amazing. And so then today and yesterday,
Yeah.
I would do this thing where I would take one out and I'd put it on the counter. And I couldn't stop working on whatever academic assignment I was working on until it was de-thawed enough for me to eat. And before you ask, no, I only ate one that was pretty frozen. The rest had de-thawed. But there's like a little Uncrustable and a little TikTok time. Like,
yeah.
I am the world's largest iPad kid.
Oh, same. My God. Okay, we need to get
we have
to
to
a
go to the story.
story.
Somehow we just kind of... Here's the thing. I don't know. And honestly, it's okay if we jump in here now, if this is where it cuts in. I know we said we're about to be into the story, but I don't think you were on Facebook in the early days.
I was.
Were you? So that kind of message
Is very much what you would make your
2009
status.
Facebook, and then
Yes.
people would comment on it, and
What's
then you would
wrong?
reply. Right, exactly. The like feeling weird today, comma, but there's like it's like feeling weird today, space, comma, space.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Dot, dot, dot.
Right, and it's all lowercase letters.
But it's space,
Loved
dot, dot, dot.
that.
Yeah.
Or like you would just post a couple song lyrics, and then people would be like,
the
"What's
song
wrong?"
lyrics,
You'd
that's
be
what I
like,
would do.
"Oh, it's just Butterflies by Owl City."
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I got to like 8th grade before my brain was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done.
So at same year,
Yeah.
But different age ranges.
Yeah, fair,
In
yeah.
high school, I was like, probably need to delete all of this.
I don't think I deleted it, which is embarrassing.
I don't know how to log into my Facebook anymore. Last thing I'll say, then I do want to hear the story. I will
Yes.
shut up. I'll put the string in my mouth. Someone tweeted the other day. They said, how crazy would it be to be able to just Google if someone was single? And then someone replied, I may be mistaken, but I understand millennials had this ability from like 2008 to 2012.
Yep.
Yes. In fact, me and my friend Sam, the one that was just visiting, for 2.5 years, we were married on Facebook because everyone just assumed we were together because gay wasn't a thing in Nebraska in 2010 yet. So we got married on Facebook. And then I remember we were like halfway through senior year of high school, or maybe it's freshman year of college, one of the two. And Sam comes to me and she goes, we need to get a divorce. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
First of all, ouch.
Right. And she goes, it's hurting my dating life. A lot of people are really confused what my relationship status is. And I was like, I mean, I get it. And that was the longest marriage I've ever had. Anyways, let's go ahead and hear the story.
Here's a story I might cut.
We promise it was going to be 45 minutes ago. No, we're both so responsible for this.
When my mom first went no contact with me, right, in 2021, yeah, she made sure to, like, really remove me from her life, which I respect. That's like a no contact thing.
Sure.
Like, that's fine. However, it did hurt when I realized to the extent she went. So she unfollowed me on Instagram. Fair. She removed me as a follower from Instagram. Fair. She unfriended me on Facebook. Fair. She removed me as my mother on Facebook. And I was like,
I don't even know how to do that. You had to go
excessive.
into the settings and like de-tag
like,
yourself.
Okay, that's rude. And then she disconnected with me on LinkedIn. And I was like, now it's funny. Now it's funny. It's not even painful anymore. Anyway, let's get into this story.
Sure. Let's go ahead and leave that in the air
Yeah, that's what I
like
do.
that. What's today's
fine.
theme, Maya? Let's get down to business. Yeah.
Let's get down to business. It's actually just down to business. Okay, so the intro, we're going to start the year of our Lord 1998, aka the year I was born. You're welcome.
Okay. It's fine. It's not the second Aperol Spritz I'm on. It's fine.
Specifically, we're going to be June 5th. There's a movie premiering at the Hollywood
You're not even
Bowl.
born at the start of this story yet.
Yeah. So
Boo.
we've done so many stories from the Gilded Age.
Oh, that's so true. But also be proud that I know your birth date that well.
It's also like it was a week ago, so.
So no roses for Grant. No Blasius for Giuseppe. You know what I'm talking about, right? Good.
So Kelsey and Edgar did this thing.
What's we're literally like 4 words into the story.
No, Kelsey and Edgar did this thing where Edgar will come to bed and like go to sleep or something, and Kelsey will be like, "No kisses for Giuseppe." And now Casey started doing it to me whenever I get up. Anyway.
Okay, sorry. Let's just go ahead and restart this whole story. I'll listen.
The year of our Lord 1998.
Well, I laughed.
June 5th. A movie is premiering at the Hollywood Bowl in LA, and then it would be fully released to the general public on June 19th. The movie was a big hit. It was well received by critics and the public at the time. It ended up grossing $304 million worldwide. It won a Golden Globe, an Academy Award, several Annie Awards, including Best Animated Feature. And its success resulted in a sequel and would also later result in a live-action remake in the year of our disease lord, 2020. Do you know what movie it is?
Is it Mulan?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. So why was it so successful? It was unique in that this was one of the first movies of this time by this studio where the female lead is not a damsel in distress,
Right.
but a warrior worth fighting for.
Now add a cricket. That's one of the first songs we sang on this podcast.
I was
such a
listening
weird
to the
episode.
soundtrack on my walk, and I was like, Grant and I have made far too many references to like the 4. There's only like 4 songs in the movie, and
Yes,
I think
I know.
we've referenced.
It's
all
not
of
a
them.
musical.
No, yeah. Okay, so why was the movie so successful? We're never gonna get through this.
Hua Mulan.
The movie, made by Disney and is called Mulan. Well, its initial success may seem like it's a shoo-in for success for future sequels and live actions. The live action remake actually resulted in quite a bit of backlash from viewers regarding cultural appropriation and a deviation from true history and a bunch of other things. So today, dear listener, we're going to be talking about a few badass women / figures in Japan and China. So welcome to Let's Get Down to Business.
Hold my hand as I tell you this, okay?
Yeah.
You're okay. I want to start it off this way. She's all right.
I'm scared.
You, I think, know I had done no research for my story that we're recording
Tomorrow.
mañana, because of earlier conversation on grad work. I knew that Mulan was based on a real person, period. End of things I know. So I'm kind of gripping your heart there, I didn't mean to. End of things that I know.
We're gonna
but
roll
in the
this
back
tape
of
back.
my mind, I was like, well, I can just figure out who that lady was, and that's what we can record tomorrow. So you have actually taken my story, but I have done no research on it.
I want you to know, if you had done the research, there's a reason that we're covering a few characters.
Oh, I kind of also was prepared for there not to be enough, so then I was going to do like Mulan controversy, whatever. Like how what's the general's name? Shang. And then he finds out she's a woman, and he's like, "Ugh, get away." So funny to me. Once his little twink was actually just a woman. This is the closest we've ever had to this happening before.
I'm
where
so
we almost
hyped.
do the same story.
Well, the two options I gave you.
How grad school saved the podcast. Sorry, go ahead. I legitimately
That would be
chose Let's Get Down to
really funny
Business because I was like,
because
I can
you
just do a Mulan thing if I have to. I know it's the obvious choice. And
Yeah,
you're
it was
always,
the obvious
You're always
choice.
like, here's the theme. And the story's over here. You know? And
No.
I'm the one that's like out and about. It's about coming out and being about.
This one felt almost so on the nose that I was like, that can't be the theme, right? And I was like, fuck it. I'm like, make it.
It's Let's Get Down to Business.
It's
right?
down to business.
Down to business.
Yeah. Down
Okay.
to business.
Okay.
As you said, I want you to know, you said, let's get down to business.
Yeah.
And I knew immediately you knew exactly what I was on to. I was like, oh, fuck.
No. I didn't know what you were onto. I knew
just
what
are-
I was going to be onto tonight. And now we're putting in the backup quarterback, and that's okay too. That's all right. That's all right.
Yay.
Tell me a little bit more about
Okay. So, welcome to Down to Business.
40 minutes in. Good.
Yeah, and we can talk about why you don't always need to be a man.
Must be swift as a forging river.
Be a man.
It's the
Force of a great typhoon.
Okay, I'm
be a man with all the strength of a
raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon. I'm up here. This can't sound. That sounds like the same note to you. I'm up here.
why you don't
Casey's clapping from upstairs.
why you don't need to be a man to make an impact on your history. Side note, did you know the voice of General Shang is not the singing voice of General Shang?
That tracks. That's a really hard skill to do both of.
Yeah, but
like
I
only
also-
people like me can do it. So
Yeah, but I also saw a video of a white man singing Be a Man,
What?
and it sounded a lot like General Shang, and I was like, I'm sorry, they didn't cast this white man to be General.
But hold on,
I
did they
looked at-
cast Tim Curry? Because it makes sense if they cast Tim Curry.
I can't remember what his name is.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The actual voice actor is Asian.
Sure.
The singing actor is not, which I thought was hilarious.
Also, not always a given with Disney products, so that's exciting, especially from the 90s.
Yeah. So our sources today are the World History Commons, Tefugu, Britannica, Harvard Magazine, Time, Columbia University, Oxford Academic, Hollywood Reporter, The Smithsonian, New Scientist, Japan Wonder Travel Blog, Wikipedia, and a few others that will obviously be linked on our website. So, our first story is going to take us to Japan. I don't know if you know this, Grant. You definitely know this. I'm trying to relearn Japanese, and I've been going really hard at it for
I
like
do
the
know
last
that
month.
because you relearning Japanese is a pretty crucial element to us going to Japan.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been really into going back to learning Japanese, and so I think Casey, like a few months ago, made a comment that like, well, you and Grant have been doing a lot of like Eurocentric stories, like maybe you do something from Japan, and I was like, first of all, ouch.
Right.
Second of all, You're right.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
good point. So I started looking at it. I think the first thing I Googled was badass women in Japan. Got a lot of modern people. That's great. There's a lot of really cool people in Japan. I was like, we're a history podcast, essentially.
Right.
History and true crime, it feels
History,
like.
true crime, storytelling,
Yeah.
little bit making.
I know, which is
singing.
really not good for advertising.
Well, what are you? Wow, so homophobic.
Yeah. I say we're a true crime podcast, but it doesn't need to be true crime because that gives them an idea of what we do without saying like we're a history podcast and they're like, I don't give a fuck about you. Anyway,
an exploration of the intriguing and the unusual.
Exactly.
But now it just sounds like we're a Sherlock Holmes podcast.
Exactly. So anyway, we're covering 3 people today. I will say this first person is the one that I didn't go back and like rearrange the notes, which is what I usually do. I usually take notes as I'm like reading and then I'll go back and like rearrange how I want to tell the story. So I'm sorry if this is a little, I don't know, like segmented.
I'm just saying right now, before I know any information about any of them, I am hopeful that women too can be war criminals. Yes, I got it right. Here's the one thing you need to know
We're going way far back in history though, so I don't know if it's...
Here's the thing you need to know about Chinese history. And this is kind of like almost a bit amongst other history teachers. And it's a statement on how Eurocentric our focus is, right?
Yeah.
It'll be like, and then this war, which was pivotal to like mid-1200s Western Europe, in which like 12,000 people died. But in Chinese history, because you're just dealing with orders of magnitude, they'll be like, and then there was the blankety blank incident where only 6 million people died, which makes it an incident, not even a flare-up or a revolt or a war. And you're like, okay, cool. So yeah, that is a different
Square affair.
And they're like, 12 people died. And meanwhile, they're just like, yeah, you know, and an entire village disappeared, but only one. And that's how you got to contextualize it in Chinese history, just in terms of numbers and stuff.
No, that's fair.
So that's what the war criminals joke was in part based off of.
We're going to Japan first, though, which I'm not saying they're innocent by any means. They are a little smaller, at least at this point. So we're first going to talk about... this is a female samurai.
Ooh, fine. Okay.
One of they're very rare, even like for historians that are studying them now. So this is a female samurai during the 12th century, aka the
1100s.
Yes, the Heian period for Japan. Heian period. She was known for her skill in archery and swordcraft. She's described in the Tale of Heike about the Genpei War, especially beautiful with white skin, long hair, and charming features. She was also a remarkably strong archer, and as a swordsman, she was a warrior worth 1,000, ready to confront a demon or a god, mounted or on foot.
Okay, so Maia, hungry. Gotcha.
Why do you think I ate all that mac and cheese?
Like hunched over the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. So this is Tamoe Gozen.
Okay.
Tamoe Gozen. She was the first captain to Minamoto no Yoshinaka. She took part in offensive battle called Onamusha, which is different from defensive battle, which I thought was interesting. Ona Begeisha. Sorry, it's hard to transition from English to Japanese now that I'm like...
I have no rubric for it, so I think you're doing a great job so far.
Geisha. It's geisha. So they were in the Genpei War. It was a civil war between 1180 and 1185. It was the end of the aristocratic... I got it.
Jeez,
I didn't even think about it, actually. I got it so fast.
And they say shame doesn't work in education.
Guys, I got it. Aristocratic Heian period, which that period went from 794 to 1185. And it was the age of the samurai. The Kyoto-based Taira clan against the provincial Minamoto clan. The Taira are represented in white, and the Minamoto are represented in red, which is emblematic of the Japanese flag, which if you don't know, it's a white background and like a red circle. And now, even today, they will use those two colors for like if kids are playing like games against each other.
Oh, cute.
It'll be white versus red.
It's their red versus blue.
Yes.
Nice. Okay,
exactly.
Cool.
So there's an annual New Year's singing competition.
Of course there is.
Called the NHK Kohaku Uta Gassen, aka the Red and White Song Battle.
Nice. Okay.
In the end, the Genpei War, the Minamoto clan wins despite
Was that
the
red
odds.
or white?
That is red.
Okay.
Despite the odds being very much against them, and established the first shogunate in Kamakura, which they would rule in until 1333. So for a long while. So Tomoē was in a relationship with Lord Kiso no Yoshinaka, aka Minamoto no Yoshinaka. So he was part of the clan that ends up winning. She was most likely one of his concubines, one of his many concubines. And Lord Kiso was so impressed with her skill and courage that he made her one of his leading commanders.
I mean, this is literally the arc of that romantic relationship in Mulan. You helped me win the war. I had complicated feelings about you. I was like, be my prostitute. You were like, marriage and equals. And
yeah.
you were like, yeah, okay.
And then he was like, and then we like talked about it aggressively, and my father gave me a flower, and then it was like a whole thing. Anyway.
Oh, he does do that, doesn't he? I need to rewatch Mulan. Oh, you already have. That's why you know. Okay, sorry.
No, I actually haven't. I just.
Well, you know what I have to say about that. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your family.
Yeah, tell me what the black man says about the Asian culture.
I was just quoting Mushu the Dragon.
Who was voiced by?
Eddie Murphy.
Anyway, I'm just trying to give you shit.
I was like, are dragons specifically Asian? Because I think HBO has a thing to say about that.
I saw a comedian today that was like, what's one accent that no American is ever off put by? British. Like fairy tale with dragons, British accent.
Yeah.
Like famous people, British accent. Royal people, British accent. You can't go to like, what is it? It was Indian. You can't, if they had an Indian Game of Thrones.
They'd be like, why are they all this way? No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But the fact that they're all like soft vowel or whatever. Do you know? Sorry. Nope, I'm going to bring it back. The neighborhood Soho is represented by a Tory.
No.
Our UK listeners understand.
Never mind. I hate it.
But the neighborhood right next to it is represented by Keir Starmer, who's probably the next PM. It was a weird little brain dive today when I was really tired of academic research, so I was like, I know what I'll do for fun. Look at the upcoming UK election.
To make me feel better about our election,
yeah,
which
I think
is
so,
looking increasingly bad. The presidential debate just happened, so anyway.
Anyway,
so here are some key battles.
Okay, hold on. I thought we were talking about love.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
So it is a marriage of equals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know. There's no saying if they were actually in love. He is one of his concubines. Is not sure if he had multiple. I'm assuming, given the word concubine, there was a couple sources that said she was like a female attendant or a wife, and so
that social dynamic could be something that we have a hard time gauging with our modern binoculars.
So,
that standpoint theory for your face is so.
Grant will not shut up about his goddamn masters. And
if I have to do it, so do all of you.
No, I don't. I actually didn't pay for it.
I'm talking to the children right now.
If we could have an equal front for them, please, Grant.
We weren't going to do that.
We weren't going to fight today.
Listen, the only time I ever saw my parents fight, ever, was where we were going to go to dinner on Fridays. They'd be like, why don't
you lived in a goddamn Norman Rockwell painting. We can't even go into. I have so many stories that I think would make you laugh for dark humor, but I'm not going to share for the children. Shut the fuck up.
All I was trying to say is that my parents really did, like, they would be on the same page for the children. Unless it was like,
here are some key battles for Tomoē. I'm sick of this.
I'll just listen for a while.
We're in the 6th month of 1181, which I thought it was weird that they were saying like 1st month, 2nd month, 6th month, right. And then I learned months when I was relearning Japanese. That's literally how they refer to them.
Honestly, that makes
like
more sense. Like, what do you mean August comes before
so
December?
6th month is June.
Good.
It's the Battle of Yoko Tagawara. Tomoē defeats and collects about the heads of 7 mounted warriors.
Okay.
And to put it in perspective, someone made the comparison that heads at this time were considered a marker of success, equivalent to like winning an Oscar.
Oh.
Anyway, so she collected 7 of those in one battle.
Okay, Meryl Streep, pop off.
The 5th month of 1183, the Battle of Tonamiyama. She leads 1,000 cavalry members to victory. The 1st month of 1184, the Battle of Uchide no Hama. She leads 300 forces into a battle against 6,000 Taira cavalry and is one of 5 survivors.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Like,
So they lose that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how she made it out. But, okay, so the big one February 21st, 1184, the Battle of Awazu. Minamoto forces were basically set to win the Civil War at this point.
Okay.
And now it's a battle between all of the Minamoto like heads of who's going to be the next shogunate. And so
So after winning the war, they're like, gotta kill each other.
They haven't officially won, but they're like so close to winning
Sure.
that now they're like trying to figure out who's going to take the throne, shogun, whatever. So Lord Kiso, her lover, was pitted against his cousin, Minamoto Yoritomo.
I get it. I have some weird cousins.
I mean, I get it, yeah. Lord Kiso's forces at some point during this
Her
this
lover's
battle,
forces.
Her lover's forces
Okay.
and her, she's fighting, dwindled to 5.
Again.
So her, the Lord,
Right.
and 3 others.
Okay.
And at some point, Lord Kiso demands that Tamoe leaves the field. And it's a little unclear.
He waits till there's 5 to make that call? Sorry.
It's weird because some sources say it's because he wanted to protect her.
Right.
Other sources said it would be embarrassing for me to die on a field with a woman.
Oh. Ooh.
So there's some ingrained misogyny.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tamoe said, okay, but no.
Right.
She said she will obey after she engages in one final battle to impress him.
Okay, Pikachu, like, get after it, girl.
To defend her honor. So Tamoe rides into a pack of 30 mounted warriors and picks the strongest among them to fight a famous warrior at the time, Onda no Hachiro, and she beheads him.
Okay.
Which is kind of, I don't know, wild to me.
Yeah.
Shortly after this, Lord Kiso was fatally wounded.
Doesn't have to listen to his orders anymore.
Yeah, well, after she beheaded him, she did listen to him and flee towards the eastern border, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, his cousin, Minamoto no Yoritomo, is the uncontested shogun after that.
Okay.
After the war...
So weird cousin wins.
Weird cousin wins.
Okay.
After the war, no one knows what happens to her. There are no records.
Oh.
Isn't that wild? So theory 1 is she's captured by Yoritomo's men.
Oh, that's not fun. I'm about to be like, I have such a good playlist for her.
I
You can
know.
just head west, like, girl.
So there's a couple theories. So the first one is kind of sad that she was captured by specifically one of Yoritomo's men, Wada Yoshimori, during the Battle of Kyoto, forced to become his concubine and gave birth to another legendary warrior later, whose name was Ashihina Saburo Yoshihide. Theory 2, she becomes a Buddhist nun
Oh,
and
okay.
continues to pray over her lover's death until she dies at the ripe age of 91
Oh my God.
in the 12th century.
It really is hot water that does it, huh?
I think so. Theory 3 is that she avenged Lord Kiso Yoshinaka, like at the battle, by killing his attackers and stealing Lord Kiso's head so that no one could defile it. And then she walks into the sea to drown with the head.
Who does that? Like Olivia Wolfe or...
Oh, sure.
Sure. There's a famous American author who...
I'm assuming, but I don't know.
Virginia Woolf is the name I'm trying to
Virginia
go
Woolf.
for.
Who's afraid of Virginia Woolf?
I can combine Olivia Plath and Virginia Woolf.
Okay, I was confused.
Same.
Okay. So that's the end of the story of
Wait, hold on.
Tamoe Gozen.
Does your sources have any inclination as to what they think, like which one they think is true?
There's truly no good...
Where does the Buddhist rumor come from?
I have no idea.
Someone
but
was
I
like,
did see...
I saw her and she was a Buddhist.
I did see...
nun."
I mean, it was the 12th century, so like...
Sure.
Truthfully, what sources are they having? And if she's trying to hide as like technically a war criminal after her lover's cousin takes the shogunate, like that might be the best place for her to hide.
Like they just had it so good. Like you could just disappear 8 miles down the road, you know?
Grant wants receiving hour to last all the time. Or the opposite of receiving hour, anti-receiving hour.
I just like really do think I would thrive as a like garden hand at a French monastery with like a sordid past that everyone knows. Don't talk to him about. And on Sunday, during quiet hours, that's when I get my sleep.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
He's thought a lot about this.
I really have.
Have you the Bob's Burgers episode where Bob and Linda go to like the role playing thing for basically their like universe's version of Downton Abbey?
I've seen like clips of it on TikTok. Have not sat through the episode
So funny
yet.
because they both end up being like servants essentially.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're going to be Lord Grantham, and you are a scullery maid.
Yeah,
100%.
Literally. Okay, so continuing with Tamoe Gozen, that's like where the history of her essentially ends.
Okay.
That's all we like officially know about her from records. However, there is the Heike monogatari, which is translated to the Tale of Heike. Grant's.
Hi. I'm here.
Japan's great war epic. And it's equivalent to the West's Iliad.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
so it's like a huge book, basically about like a war.
It's an amalgamation of stories that is both literal and oftentimes figurative and shines a light.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, if you can just use that one word, that's fine.
I'm an engineer. We like condensing. So the book represents.
Do you know what we would call that in communication studies? I need to bleep that out. I need to stop drinking so many Aperol Spritz.
No, you don't. I actually love those.
I am absolutely pulling, not Florida mom, but mom on vacation in Florida.
And I love that for you.
Patreon story that I'm also going to tease out right now. When my family went to the wine country together for like 3 days in a row, my mom had a different shirt on that just had glasses of wine on it. At a certain point, I was like, she's only going to wear wine this weekend. But no, she's a classy lady. She had stuff for dinner.
I love that.
We had a great time.
I love that. Okay. Are you going to interrupt me again?
No,
or like,
I'm just
going to
I'm gonna make some notes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you do that. While Grant's typing, Monet got 2 teeth out this week. And I'll probably put the video somewhere, but I have a little trauma, understandably, from her going under anesthesia because one time she came out and didn't have a leg. And
but I mean, that was what you'd approved going.
That's what I knew was going to happen, but it was still like traumatizing because she was in the hospital for like a couple weeks, or maybe a week. But anyway, after she came out of anesthesia, she was fine. I had to go to the pet store to get some wet food for her because she was obviously a little sore in the mouth.
Right.
And I went there and I wanted to buy a toy. At Pride, there was a stand for one of the vet clinics in Cherry Creek, and they had little baby dog toys. And I gave one to Mo. She is fucking obsessed with it. She like will not put it down. I don't know if she like doesn't know where it is right now. She hasn't had it in her mouth today, but she will put it in her mouth and like not put it down ever. She will bark at Casey with it in her mouth. She's obsessed with it. If Bowser comes close to her with her and she has it, she will like lose her goddamn mind. Anyway, so I wanted to buy her a toy.
Right.
And I usually let her sniff the toy and pick it. And I like put one up to her face to see if she would like it. And I was holding her because I was like traumatized and needed her.
Right.
And I look over and she's just looking at me like... I'll show you the video really quick because it's really fucking
Has your owner snapped a treat in half and give it to you, pretending it's a full treat? You may be entitled to finance or compensation. Contact the law offices of Monet and Bowser.
Okay, this this is her with the toy really quick. She is absolutely...
She really is obsessed with it.
Yeah, she'll hold it. She held it while we cuddled the other day because she like would not let it go. And
this is on Monday?
Yeah. It's like eyes half closed, tongue out.
She's also all up in my legs right now.
Yeah, she said, I heard my name.
It's all right. We love you. We love you, baby girl.
She's been a lot.
We were talking about 12th century Japan.
Yes, and
I think 13th century at this point.
War epic, yeah. The war epic. So the book represents the book itself, Heike Monogatari, the tale of Heike. Heike? Heike. Yeah, Heike, I think. It represents the Heike and Genji clans, which represent the Taira and Minamoto respectively. So they're just like different names for the actual clans that were fighting during this war. Tomoē actually appears in, or maybe it's Tamoe. Tamoe. How do you pronounce words? Tamoe. It's Tamoe because there's an E and that. Yeah. There's no silent vowels in Japanese, which continuously gets me.
I will just remind you again, I have no idea.
I know, but...
Every time she says something, I shake my head, and then she says it again, and I just shake my head a little bit more.
Our very dear follower that sends us these teas, when I sent them the thank you note, I wrote their name in hiragana.
Sure.
And when they responded over Instagram, they were like, your hiragana is so nice. And I was like, thank you, Barbie. And now I feel like I'm doing
you
this
guys should
for
like share your parental trauma with each other.
Oh, we have.
Okay. I'm like, I've had too much Aperol Spritzes.
We haven't actually. We just talked about it. Okay. So Tomoē appears in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called The Death of Lord Kiso.
Okay.
Tamoe's intro is where I got the intro at the beginning where I said where I described her. Her intro, quote, Kiso no Yoshinaka has brought with him from Shinano 2 female attendants, Tamoe and Yamabuki. Yamabuki had fallen ill and stayed in the capital. Of the 2, Tamoe was especially beautiful with white skin, long hair, and charming features. She was also a remarkably strong archer, and as a swordsman, she was a warrior worth 1,000, ready to confront a demon or a god, mounted or on foot. She handled unbroken horses with superb skill. She rode unscathed down perilous descents. Whenever a battle was imminent, Yoshinaka sent her out as his first captain, equipped with strong armor, an oversized sword, and a mighty bow, and she performed more deeds of valor than any of his other warriors. Thus she was now one of the 7 who remained after all the others had fled or perished.
What a letter of recommendation.
Right? So at the Battle of Awazu, when Lord Kiso's forces dwindled to 5 and he was like, go, flee.
And she's like, fine, but only after I kill the baddest here.
Yeah. That's also described in this war epic. And it said, quote, even then, Tamoe remained alive. And it's fine. And quickly now, Lord Kiso said to Tamoe, you are a woman, so be off with you. Go wherever you please. I intend to die in battle or kill myself if I am wounded.
Oh, okay.
It would seem unseemly to let people say Lord Kisos kept a woman with him during his last battle. Which is like weird.
Doesn't sound like this guy kept anybody with him during his last battle.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's
lost.
dead, my dude. But it's also like, it's misogynistic and then it's like not, but then it's like misogynistic again.
How is she your first captain and you also couldn't die beside
with her? Yeah, exactly. So reluctant to flee, Tamoe rode with the others until she could resist no longer. Then she pulled up. If only I could find a worthy foe, I would fight a last battle for his lordship to watch, she thought. As she sat there, 30 riders came into view, led by Onda no Hachiro Moroshige, a man renowned in Musashi province for his great strength. Tamoe galloped into their midst, rode up alongside Moroshige, seized him in a powerful grip, pulled him down against the pommel of her saddle, held him motionless, twisted off his head, and threw it away. Afterward, she discarded the helmet and armor and fled towards the eastern provinces.
And then she became a nun.
Yeah.
That is remarkably similar to this character art of character actress Margot Martindale in BoJack Horseman. It's actually almost a perfect retelling.
I love that.
I want you to know at any moment I'm thinking of Margot Martindale. That's what I need you to know.
Margot Martindale, character actress, though.
Character actress. Yeah. I'm actually thinking of animated Margot Martindale, character actress. It's a toy that got dropped.
Okay, that's fine. He did that to himself.
Insanely loud, though.
It was an antler, I think. Okay. I think this is a quote from a historian. This battlefield retreat scene has been heavily debated. Why does Yoshinaka suddenly give the middle finger to Tamoe, his greatest ally? What's up with that? Was it simply out of embarrassment about Tamoe's gender, even though he never seemed to mind that before? Did he fear for her safety? Was he jealous of the possibility that she might die a more glorious death than him? Did he just want someone from his own army to survive, someone to pray for his soul to the gods and to sing his praises to the people? And here's a bit of personal information. So, I have gone to a couple Japanese funerals, and I'm not sure, I actually cannot remember what religion they were for. I think it was Buddhist. It was my aunt and my grandmother. Okay. But funerals in Japan, it's not like, I guess like a lot of people can go, but there is like the monk who leads the funeral procession, does a lot of chanting, and my mom explained it to me after the funeral, saying like the chanting that he's doing, I can't remember the exact translation, but it's essentially trying to guide the soul into the light. And so essentially you can't ascend to whatever your afterlife is in whichever religion this is without someone praying for you.
So your take is that in this like moment of like heat of battle, intense glory, he sends her away and has to do like the old Yeller thing where he's like, go on, get, don't you know you can't fight with us no more? And she's like, twist head off, fine, and then runs away. Yes. And that maybe have been done to like preserve his eternal soul. His eternal soul. Crazy. I just mean like religion.
I just don't have like good impression of men in general. But that might explain more of like the praying to the gods kind of aspect of it. So anyway, that's Tomoē.
So that's our first one.
It's the first one.
And is that the person that Mulan is based off of?
I don't know. Is it? You'll find out.
Oh, okay. So no, but in a fun way. Okay.
Yeah. I thought she was cool.
I'm in for it 110%.
Yeah. This is the one I think you're going to like the most.
Okay.
This next one.
Is it also in Japan?
We're still in Japan.
Okay.
Yep.
We've been meaning to get Hot Pot together, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Yep. Literally?
Literally.
Do you want to go tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go tomorrow.
Okay, cool. You have a story to research, though. You let me know how that goes.
We're just going to do it tonight.
Yeah, okay.
I also have a different idea as to what the story might be, and I think it's going to be hilarious.
Okay, cool.
Hot pot tomorrow. What's in the calendar?
Excellent. Okay. So.
I've had a great time tonight. I just love you. It's definitely not the Aperol spritzes.
No, definitely not. So we're back in Japan, still in Japan. We are actually a little earlier in the time frame. We're specifically in the imperial capital of Japan from 794 to 1185.
Okay.
We were in Heian-kyo, which today is Kyoto. At the time, this was obviously the capital of Japan. It was described as like essentially New York City of America at the time.
Sure.
The quote specifically is Heian-kyo was the place to see and be seen. Anybody who was anybody could be found strolling through those streets, or more likely being carried through them on palanquins, which is like the hoisty boy where they sit.
It's like on their shoulders, so it's not like a rickshaw. It's like fully on the shoulders.
It's fully on.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think there was versions of it. I looked them up, and it depends on the time period, and I couldn't actually find what this specific time period was. The closest I could find was the 1700s.
It's actually so inexcusable that last weekend you did a true crime episode based in the 90s, and now you're not an expert on transportation systems of 13th century Japan. Like, what is even the point of any of this?
I know. Well, I
strung that sentence together correctly, by the way.
And that was also wild.
Thank you.
I was like, okay.
No, I talked over you, though. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Okay. So, like a lot of things during this time, intellectual prowess in science, technology, engineering, and math is not really important.
Okay.
Because we're in the
13th century, 1200s.
Not even that. We're in the 1100s.
Okay.
If not earlier. So it's not a big ticket. It's not a ticket into the big leagues. Not that it is now either. But the arts was.
Oh, okay, cool.
So poetry at this point is playing a huge role.
Bring it back.
In achieving romantic and bureaucratic success. Art was really important around this time, not only poetry, but painting, calligraphy, musical instruments, etc. To illustrate like just how important art was, courtiers would invest lots of time and money into their beauty regimens to turn themselves essentially into dolls. Geisha, I did look it up. Geisha did not come around until much, much later, but I do think that this
because I think that's the first image a lot of our listeners, including
that
me,
is,
immediately think
yes,
of.
It's not quite that. I do think the geisha look is not necessarily like attributed just to geisha.
Okay.
Like that look has happened before.
Sure.
Geisha themselves
is a specific thing.
Happened much, much later. But around this time, they would essentially make themselves up, kind of like what you're thinking of a geisha. They would, where is it? Paint their faces white and their teeth black. Styled and scented their hair and dressed in complex color combinations, symbolizing everything from social status, the weather, the seasons.
Okay.
And
so it's like Downton Abbey, the Gilded Age,
yes,
Kyoto in the 1100s.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And it was literally like pre-Bridgerton. Like if you wore the wrong color combination, if you wore the color combination from last season, there's like the whole societal structure really thrived on like cutthroat social scenes, marriage politics, scandals, drunken revelry, gossip. Like it really was.
So glad America's moved past all of that.
Yeah.
Certainly not a marriage-centric, consumption-oriented, fast fashion.
Never once.
Culture.
Anyway.
We're fun. We're really fun at parties.
We are. We really are. We're really loud, and
really
you probably don't need to talk. Actually, we might prefer it. Anyway.
Have you ever been at a party where like a spotlight kind of hits you a little bit? Yeah. That's when you're like, oh boy, I got him.
The thing is, I start thinking about it, and then I'm like, ooh, I hate it.
And I'm like, I am the joy of every room I've ever been in.
And that's why I like going to parties with you.
Right, exactly.
Because I'm kind of in the spotlight, but I'm really just, you know, when Jimmy Fallon, he has like that side guy that just like responds to everything he says.
Sidekick, yeah.
That's what I feel like I am to you at parties when I don't want to actually talk.
This is funny because everyone else at this party is like taking it in, having a good time, and then you will say the meanest thing. And right, so just like that, you will then laugh, and then everyone else will laugh because the emperor wears no clothes, kind of in that moment. It's a great time. It's fine. We are a fun 1-2 punch.
Yeah, if you can't take a little sass, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you say the meanest thing to me. Like, I'll be out there and be like, "Shut up, Grant," and everyone's gonna be like, and I'm like, "Wow." Go back to no one saying anything then. I'm gonna go eat a mouthful of butter thinking it's a dip. Real things. Last party I was at was an outdoor party. Ripped my pants picking something up from the floor. Fortunately, I was like, oh, absolutely, I'm sorry. I dropped this. I'm gonna head out there. It was good to see you. Hug, bend down, hear the rip happen
and
as I'm gonna get it. And then I immediately stand up. And it's like legs together because it's like just the dead,
like in between.
The dead bottom of pants, and I'm like, so good to see you all. And I am backtracking because it's a backyard, and I was like, oh my god, it's a fun trash can. Bye. And then I like close the gate and I like run to my car in the front yard where there is nobody.
I love that.
Yeah,
the timing was perfect.
It really was. I would have left immediately regardless, but yeah. Really
I get it. Okay. Anyway, we're in
Kyoto.
Yeah. It's Kyo. I'm just going to teach you Japanese while we're here. Kyo.
Thanks. Kyoto?
Kyoto, yeah. It's like
that
KYO.
sounds exactly like what I'm kidding.
You were saying Kyoto.
Kyoto.
Yeah, Kyoto. Okay, so courtiers would invest lots of time to like paint their faces white, essentially. And this actually, I went into a bit of a deep dive on this, just because I got a little interested. So this is still celebrated to today in Japan with the annual doll festival, which is called the Hina Matsuri. Hina represents a type of doll. It directly translates to like light, sun, greenery, that kind of stuff. And then Matsuri means festival, so it literally kind of means like light sun festival.
You're playing footsie with Mo.
I love that. And so it does feature dolls replicating these Heian period courtiers. It's celebrated every March 3rd of every year, and it's also called Girls' Day.
Galentine's Day. They got a Galentine's Day.
It's
girlfriend talk show.
It's representing like daughters.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Because they also have a Son's Day. It's like mothers and we have a Mother's Day and a Father's Day.
They have a Galentine's Day and a Sunday. Hell yeah. This is just word association now.
I know.
Say your actual facts.
They have a Mother's Day and a Father's Day, like kind of we do. I don't actually know if they celebrate those, but they most importantly have a Daughters and a Sons Day, or Girls and Boys Day, I think is what they really call it. And I was actually doing some research into this, and the reason that it's a lot of emphasis is put on this, if you have a daughter or a son, obviously, their first celebration of this holiday is a really big deal usually. Like families will come together and like give them gifts and stuff. And it's because back when these courtiers were doing things like the 1100s, it's really common for you to lose children early on. The mortality rate's really low. And so it's, if a child makes it through the first 6 months or the first year or whatever to make it to this holiday, it's a big deal.
Oh, cool.
And so that's why it's kind of celebrated, especially with
kind of
young
horrific
kids.
Where it's like, we'll celebrate it once we know it's going to be around.
Yeah, but so they do this, and this is what the festival will look like. So this is actually a shrine in one of the biggest cities that celebrate it, which I have written down. But all of these dolls represent what the courtiers look like, essentially, with the white face and everything and all the elaborate colors and stuff.
What's the white paint made out of?
Could not tell you.
Okay.
Also, don't really want to know for the 1100s.
Also probably true.
Yeah. Couldn't tell you. So that particular picture is 1,800 dolls on the steps leading up to the Tomisake Shrine in Katsura. This town is one of the biggest festivals in the country. Over 30,000 of these dolls will be displayed throughout just this town from late February to early March. When you celebrate this, like, especially if you're a young girl, I remember one of my really close Japanese friends growing up. Her family, she had both a Japanese mother and father, so she was really raised in Japanese culture.
Oh, wow.
They used to have the families will have basically these little stands, but it'll just be like maybe a few levels where they'll display all of their hina dolls on them for like whatever that month is.
Oh, cool.
And so it is a pretty big thing in Japanese culture. Anyway, back to the time period.
Back to Kyoto.
Back to Kyoto.
Getting better.
Yeah, you
subtly.
You are. So
lifelong learner.
So the biggest thing during this time period, as I mentioned, is art, namely writing, because paper and ink at this time were really kind of hard to acquire, especially if you're like lower middle class. And so if you had it, you definitely flaunted it, or you definitely used it in a way to flaunt it. So during this time, 2 alphabets were developed.
Feels excessive, but all right.
So men, before this, I think the main alphabet is actually Chinese, what they had taken from the Chinese. So men continued to use, quote unquote, men's letters, or otokimoji, while women ended up developing kana, or women's hand, which is onode. Kana is what is largely used today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's...
Women wrote more. Nice.
And it's actually mixed with kanji, which is like the really intricate letters that like a letter can represent a word or something like that. So the current written Japanese language, how it's written now, the mix of kanji with the kana, is actually attributed to female nobility in the 1200s because they were just like writing...
all the time.
All the fucking time. So around this time, there's a family known as the Fujiwara family, which is kind of dominating court life and the aristocratic government.
The Bridgertons of this time, so to speak.
So to speak. They're namely dominating court life in the mid-9th and 11th century. In 978, a girl was born into the Fujiwara family. Her mother died very shortly after she was born, and her father, Fujiwara no Tametoki, was left as a single father, which was, from what I gathered, a really unusual thing to have happened. I think she had a brother. Some sources seem to not agree on that.
But it's just a single dad with his daughter.
Yeah, or kids or whatever. So she was incredibly well educated, not just by the standards of the aristocrats, but also of male aristocrats. She learned Chinese at the time, which was completely exclusive to men.
Wow.
And there was a source that said she learned this by listening outside of the door while her father taught her brother.
Oh.
And her father did once say to her, quote, "If only you were a boy, how proud and happy I should be."
Oh.
Anyway.
I mean, I too have heard that phrase before.
If only you were a real
No, I'm
boy.
kidding. Greg was honestly like so healthy.
So, beyond just learning Chinese, she continued to break social norms throughout her life. She remained single much longer than most. At this time, it was really common to get married right when you hit puberty. She also embarked on long-distance travel across the country, which, of course, long distance does not mean what it does now. It's like...
So she learned languages, she stayed single, she traveled. Mm-hmm. She sounds like everyone in our friend group.
That's what I said. I thought you would like her.
I mean, not you, but like everyone else.
So
She's engaged.
I found one. So she embarked on long distance travel. There was namely like one specific journey she went on that was named as like something that most women of her status would not have done.
Okay. Like war or something like that.
I think it was like her father had a placement at court farther away, and she traveled with him for however long it was that she was there with him. She did end up marrying. She married a much older and distant cousin.
Okay. Well, distance, a really heavy word there.
So Fujiwara Nobutaka, and they had a daughter together. I'm not sure what ended up happening to that daughter. I didn't really see anything about her after that. But then he died 2 years after their marriage.
What?
Because he was much older. Anyway, he died in...
I'm looking for a guy in finance. 92. No living relatives.
Distant cousin. He died in 1001.
Okay.
Although she continued to avoid avoid marriage politics and social climbing after this, she was summoned to work at court as a lady in waiting in 1005.
Yeah, she was a widow. She had done that whole thing. That whole part of her life was behind her now. Exactly.
Yeah. It's not really...
I am actually so excited for that. If I could wrap up this whole era of my life by 35 and just kind of like volunteer and be like an ornament to society and be of like strange financial stability, I'd be so good.
I really told Casey, he keeps making this joke that he's not going to live long. And like, that's a fine joke to make, but rude. We're about to go into a commitment for forever. Marriage.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were talking about marriage or your mortgage.
I was talking about the mortgage.
Oh, okay.
I was like, you can't get away from me that fast.
Overcook? Undercook.
I mean, I love him, but like, we're signing legal documents.
I mean, if you pay it traditionally, you'll pay off this mortgage before you retire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That should make you feel really sad about a lot of things.
Oh, it
by
does.
The way. Good.
It really does.
Good.
I did tell him, though, that if he dies on me while I'm still alive, I will go and marry a woman. And he said, I expect nothing less.
Yeah, 100%.
And I was like, you are the correct
Well, you're just
man.
so committed to being childless.
Yes.
That was funnier than... Sorry, go ahead.
I am really committed to being childless.
Enjoyed that joke, is what I'm trying to say.
I have 2 dogs that I just told you how deeply I care for. Okay. She marries her cousin. Cousin dies. She gets served.
Sorry, we're talking about an ancient Japanese woman.
Yeah. She gets summoned to serve at court. She serves the Empress at the time. She serves as a resident writer and also as a Chinese tutor to the Empress. So, now, Grant, I know what you're asking yourself.
How is this related to Mulan?
No. What you're asking yourself, let's be honest, is Maia, we barely knew anything about Tamoe,
right?
Who happened after this. How do we know so much about this woman?
Wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
Did she become a concubine?
No.
Oh, then now. Sorry, just like...
Sorry, you have one more question for me.
Okay.
We don't even know her name yet.
Don't we?
You don't.
Okay. Sorry. You just hit me with a lot of names. I think at one point I was like, yeah, that's probably hers.
No.
They're also, I'm not even going to joke. Sometimes you're so good at storytelling. And I get so wrapped up in the details that like 20 minutes in, I will have forgotten the name of our main character. I'll just know who the main character's vibe is. And then I'll be like, and that's Isaac? And you'll be like, exactly. And I'd be like, Isaac. Okay. So that's what I was in the middle of right now. I was like, yeah. Wait, so what's her name?
Oh, I haven't told you yet. I also do that when I'm watching documentaries. I'll be on my phone and then I'll look up and see a person and hear their voice and be like, I have no idea who you are.
I do that with shows all the time. I'm like, well, there's the mom and then there's the cousin. I don't know anyone's name. And there's the villain. Like, I know their roles.
I know their faces and I know their voices.
Exactly.
I don't know their
names. We
need,
the reason why everyone knew the characters' names in Schitt's Creek was because Alexis was always saying, David. And then she had that song, a little bit of Alexis.
Yes.
And then Johnny, the name everyone always forgets, was saying, Moira. He was the dad. And that's why we always know their name.
It's true.
So what's her name?
I'll tell you in a little bit.
Nice.
So you have a couple questions for me. They are, how do we know so much about this woman?
That is actually a huge question.
And we don't even know her name yet.
Right.
Question mark, I guess. Okay. Well, Grant, I'll tell you. Thank you so much for
asking.
Is she
nameless?
No.
Okay, good. Too many women in history.
So I'll let you... That was fucked up. So
I wasn't sure how that was gonna land.
It took me a second to process it. Okay.
Sorry if it's 7:30 in the morning for you right now, and you're like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Okay, so we barely know anything about Tomoē. How do we know so much about this woman?
Right.
So I'll borrow the words of Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh no.
And say, "Man, the woman is non-stop. How do you write like you're running out of time?"
Wait, did she also write the Federalist Papers?
Yeah. How did you know? She actually wrote the other ones.
She wasn't going to throw away her shot.
Yeah, she wasn't going to throw
She had
away
a
her
lot
shot.
of thoughts on structures of government.
For sure. Anyway, she wrote a lot, is
Okay.
how we know so much about her. We know because she left behind 3 years worth of diaries, like very intricate diaries, and a collection of 128 poems. But that's not all. She wrote something called the Genji monogatari, aka the Tale of Genji. The Tale of Genji is a story of a man named Genji, who is a fictional character that's the son of an emperor, and the son of the emperor and one of the emperor's concubines who had since passed away. It's basically a story of a playboy, like going through
a breakup.
the court.
Okay.
Again, not the court, but not a breakup. The one who died is his mom.
What? You have lost me now.
Okay, Genji.
Yep.
Emperor's is his father.
Yep.
Mother is one of the emperor's concubines that died.
Is he the heir or just one of the sons?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Cool.
Yeah. So overall, the Tale of Genji has 54 chapters and 400 plus characters.
Whoa.
Within that. It is thought of as the greatest work of Japanese literature and is the world's oldest novel.
Whoa.
Right?
So it's fiction? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's actually really cool.
Right? Here's a quote from a historian. It's a narrative, some of the things that set it apart from other works of art from this time period. It's the narrative's lush descriptions, psychological complexity, and insightful observations of nature and the human condition. Or, as Japan scholar and translator Helen Mikulo puts it, a universal appeal of the Tale of Genji transcends both its genre and age, its basic subject matter and setting. Love at the Heian court are those of the romance, and its cultural assumptions are those of the mid-Heian period.
Wait, so she wrote Bridgerton for Japan?
A little bit. I don't really know. But okay, so her unique genius has made the work for many a powerful statement on human relationships, the impossibility of permanent happiness in love, and the vital importance in a world of sorrows of sensitivity to the feelings of others.
Okay.
Right? Insane. So the book, there's a couple different sources that seem to disagree on when the book was published. There's also disagreement on when the book was finished. So one source said the book was published in 1010. Another one said it was published in 1021. Either way, we don't know when she finished the book, which leads to some disagreement about like how her life kind of transpired leading up to finishing the book. Did it happen before she went to court? Did it happen after she went to court? One or the other. It appears that she didn't write the Tale of Genji in chronological order, that she probably wrote different chapters and then assembled them. But there are a few chapters that are rather dark, it sounded like. Oof. And so there's some disagreement about the fact that some historians argue that those chapters weren't written by the same person.
Oh.
But we don't know.
Sure.
We also, again, we don't know when it was finished.
Like, did she get a little depresso espresso for some of them, or is it something else?
Or is it something else? The chapters that they think, those dark chapters, they think were the last that were written.
Okay.
Which is why they think it might have been written by somebody else. So, her name, people referred to her as Murasaki Shikibu, but that's a pen name.
Okay.
She used that, it's basically named after a heroine in her story.
Okay.
And I think...
So she wrote female characters with like agency and narrative.
Yes. So Murasaki, I think, was the name of a character of one of her heroines, and then Shikibu, I think, was a reference to her father's position in court. Anyway, we don't know her real name.
Wait, shut up. The Empress never thank God so-and-so's here to teach me Chinese.
Yeah, we don't know.
We can't find any communication.
I mean,
with anything?
it's assuming that the Empress probably had multiple people around her at all times. I don't know if the Empress even kept a journal or a diary, but we don't know who this is.
There's this whole school of historical, discovery, I guess, I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, where it's basically the diaries of really boring people in history are super important to understanding history, because they will write down things that no one else thinks needs to be written down. So for instance, there was a certain time period in England where the table had 3 jars, and we know one was for salt, one was for pepper, and they cannot figure out what the third one was. I think it maybe is mustard, but they can't tell. So they're trying to find historical diaries from that time, so that way someone's anyways, Wednesday, or anyways, Wednesday, Bartholomew forgot to refill the blank jar, and it made dinner rather awkward when the Hawthorns came over, and that's what would tell us what is in the third jar. Just a minutia detail like that, because no one thinks well, make sure everyone knows what goes into the imagine 200 years from now, they're uncovering the remains of a Kansas City Chiefs football stadium. And they're this looks like it was used to heat up food, but there are 3 compartments to it. What were they for? And it's they don't even know. It's spinach artichoke dip, mini wieners, buffalo chicken dip. Like, they have no and until someone writes that down, Martha Stewart, like, there's no way we're ever going to be able to recreate that.
But then Martha Stewart did like 2 different segments on 2 different days.
She also might be why the Chief Stadium is in ruins. Like, I don't know what happens in America in 200 years from now. I'm really concerned about what's going to happen to America in November.
Literally
so, like,
this
don't ask me.
And if you're listening to this in a future year, don't tell us.
Yeah,
we don't want to know.
I'm hoping it's better. I know it's not.
It's not. There's no way. There's no way. Okay.
Bowser is maybe the loudest eater I have ever met.
It doesn't,
and I've met myself.
It doesn't actually pick up that much on the mics. It's like if we're really quiet, it'll pick up.
Oh, well, thank God.
For the most part, the compressor will get rid of it. Yeah, it's not actually that bad.
Funny.
It just happens to be annoying. So we don't actually know what her name is. The book, however, despite it being the 1100s,
right,
and despite things like not going viral per se as things do now, this book got really popular really quickly. It was actually hand copied and distributed.
Is there a reason as to why she wrote it under a pen name?
I don't know.
They don't. Okay, cool. Sorry, I wasn't sure if we were going to get to that.
I mean, it's possible that answer is out there. Like, sure. I did research on this, but it wasn't like in the same level as I did research on Scott Peterson.
Part of me just asks, like, she's widowed, right? It sounds like she has a daughter who maybe there's like a protection of her reputation that you're worried about. Maybe. But I mean, I'm sure in line to inherit a lot, and her mom is, an attendee at court. Like,
her mom's dead.
No, sorry. I meant the writer's daughter.
Oh, the daughter. The daughter,
that, like, her daughter, like, her older mom, his mom's an attendee at court, like, seems to be set up pretty well.
Yeah.
I guess, obviously, I have no basis for what social pressures or mores would be like at the time, but just right under a pen name when,
it's also
like,
possible
that's
that
kind
it's
of
like
what your life is.
What you were saying, that maybe the Empress was, like, so high and mighty that the Empress doesn't know who she is, and so the Empress does refer to her in a diary as, like, the heroine from her novel.
Or if it would be inappropriate for someone who works for the Empress to then also be doing something else.
Yeah,
and so
it's possible.
Has to be published under like a pen name. Interesting though. How do we know that this author worked for the Empress then?
Because of her diaries.
Oh, so we have her diaries.
We have her diaries.
And it's never like the diary of Grant Thomas or Maya Warner.
Yeah.
It's like there's not that. It's like the diary of the pen name of
the diary. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, the Tale of Genji, this is a quote from a historian. Tale of Genji captures the image of a unique society of ultra-refined and eloquent aristocrats, whose indispensable accomplishments were skills in poetry, music, calligraphy, and courtship. Much of it was concerned with the love of Prince Genji and the different women in his life, all of whom are exquisitely delineated. Although the novel does not contain scenes of powerful action, it is permeated with a sensitivity to human emotions and to the beauties of nature hardly paralleled elsewhere.
So it's like delicate but real.
Yes.
Love that.
And it is mandatory reading for all Japanese students now.
Now? Hell yeah.
Yeah. I did look it up. I was like, if it's short, like, I'm just gonna read it. It is not like, it's not like long, but it is not like
that is,
short.
As an educator, like, low-key kind of a dream of mine to produce some piece of media. Maybe it's a book, I don't know.
That just becomes
that forces,
across the board.
I would love to be To Kill a Mockingbird to kids 100 years from now. Like a good book, but don't make me read it.
Don't make me read it again.
Yeah.
I would rather be like a Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That, like, the right kind of person is gonna get
written by your wife.
Yeah. Literally, yes.
Zelda. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, so although the novel does not contain scenes of powerful action, it is permeated with a sensitivity to human emotions and to the beauties of nature hardly paralleled elsewhere. The tone of the novel darkens as it progresses, indicating perhaps a deepening of Murasaki Shikibu's Buddhist conviction of the vanity of the world. Some, however, believe that the last 14 chapters were written by another author.
How many chapters are there again? 50-something?
54, yeah. So since the publishing, it has been made into art over and over again. There is the Genji monogatari emaki, which is a collaboration between artists and calligraphers on a picture scroll telling the tale. It's now considered a national treasure. I think this was put together in the 12th century, so this was still the 1100s. Much of it has been lost to time. Much of this specific piece has been lost to time, but 19 paintings and 20 sheets of calligraphy, which is less than a fifth of the total, is housed between the Goto Museum and the Tokugawa Art Museum.
So little pod talk for a second.
Yeah.
Every now and then we'll push out a video that's like funny or interesting, but like is also kind of odd without any context or anything. And I know you and I have joked a couple times that people will come to our podcast after seeing a clip thinking it's one thing and it's this instead. And I can't wait for our Japanese content TikToks to hit TikTok. Really interested to see the reactions we're gonna get. I don't even know what you have said offensively so far.
I don't know either.
This is a historical blind spot for me.
And I am white presenting.
I think you have true. They're gonna yell at Thomas and Warner. Anyways, looking forward to it. Is what I'm trying to say. I think so far you have done a really good job.
Especially when I mispronounce things. I'm sure I'm gonna
get that. I mean, you got into the groove though. Like
Thank you.
It feels more confident.
One of the first times I went to Japan, so I went to Japan a lot as a kid, and then the next time I went to Japan was when I was like 18.
Okay.
The first time I went, we were getting out of a taxi to get to my aunt's place. So we were like outside of my aunt's apartment, getting out of the taxi, and my mom leans into me and starts speaking to me in Japanese. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she just goes, oh my God, sorry. I'm just like in Japanese mode. And she like tells me, she was like, will you help the taxi driver? He's really old. I don't want him to take our luggage out of the trunk. I was like, if this is what this whole trip's going to be like, I don't know if we should be here.
I'm in Japan mode right now. I don't trust him with our bags. Does that work for you?
No,
now that he's heard me say it.
She was trying to be caring. He was a very old man, and she was like, don't let him take my massive suitcase because my mom does not pack light. I got it from somewhere.
I mean, I have, and I'm almost never actually this gendered.
Yeah.
I have never once in my life met a female presenting woman who packs light. Never once.
Listen, I'm really considering checking a bag.
I pack incredibly light. I bring 2 pairs of pants, 5 shirts, and a sweater.
Yeah,
You saw me in Europe.
Yeah, I know. I'm debating, because if I bring my big suitcase to Vancouver, I can bring really everything I want.
Sure,
if I bring my little case, it makes more sense.
Sure. Also, yes, because we'll be there for 70 hours.
Yeah, but I want outfit choices. What if I want to bring my cowboy hat?
Why do you think I'm driving?
Will you bring my cowboy hat?
Yeah, probably, maybe, yeah. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Cool. We'll talk. Okay, anyway.
I'm going to buy a cowboy hat in Montana. I think I'd look, honestly, incredible in a cowboy hat.
I really do think you would.
I have the beard for it.
I have enough fringe outfits now.
Do I need fringe?
I sent you the fringe outfit that I bought.
Do I need fringe?
I know, I'm just saying, like, I have enough fringe to warrant a cowboy hat, right? Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
So there's that one scroll that was made that's a national treasure in the 12th century. There's another scroll that's made in the 13th century called Murasaki Shikibu Niki Maki scrolls that are actually based on Murasaki's life as we know it. There are plays that are made about the tale of Genji and Murasaki beginning in the 14th century. And a lot of derivative plays are made based off of like events and characters that appear in the Tale of Genji. It's been redone over the years. There is actually one that was done, namely in 1954 and 1979. So like really up to present day. 16th century, there's a famous artist that creates a piece of artwork for each chapter. So there's 54 paintings. That artist is Tosu Mitsunobu. 17th century Confucian scholars declare it shows how to live like a good Confucian. Cool.
Nice.
17th and 18th century, 17th, 18th, and 19th century, there's a lot of more paintings, screen paintings, hanging scrolls, lacquer boxes, etc. 20th century, movies start happening. There's an English translation of the book published in 1935 by Arthur Waley. Murasaki's diary was also included in Diaries of Court Ladies of Old Japan. It was published in 1935, translated by Annie Shepley Omori and Kochi Doi. Edward Seidensticker published a second translation.
Sorry, not a funny name, just an out-of-place name.
Published a second translation of The Tale of Genji in 1976, and Royal Tyler a third in 2001.
Which one's the best one?
I do not know.
The 2001 one, probably.
Yeah. So you can still see her impact on Japan. In Ishimaya at Lake Biwa, this is where people think she was probably inspired to write the book. There's a monument to her or something. I'm not 100% sure. There's a park and a statue named after her where she traveled with her father. That's the long distance travel she did. This is the statue of her.
Okay.
in that park.
That's bronze.
Yeah, it's quite nice. There is a Tale of Genji museum as well. Anyway, here's another quote from a historian. Well, or not a historian. This is one of the articles I read. So, over the centuries, Murasaki Shikibu became much more than an author. She became a cultural icon for the Japanese language itself, much like Shakespeare has for English, parentheses, pushing the limits of the expressive power of English, adding hundreds of words and expressions to the language, providing tropes and quotes that gained lives of their own, etc. She's considered instrumental in converting the vernacular of Japanese into written word from Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is our second character.
Also not Mulan, though, still.
Yeah, so we're going to
Our
get into our
first
third.
one is the one who was Mulan so far.
Yes.
And our third one, is this the last one?
I don't know.
So this is the Mulan one. Gotcha. Okay, sweet.
I'm going to read a poem. It's not particularly short,
Is
but
it
it's
a
also a
haiku?
poem. No.
Okay.
Look at how long this is.
I try not to read your notes.
I know. Okay, this is a poem. I'm gonna do I haven't
Read
actually.
to me, Maia.
Yeah,
Before-
practiced
go
it
ahead.
anyway. The sound of one sigh after another as Mulan weaves at the doorway.
Oh, so her name's Mulan. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, okay. So her name's Mulan.
Anyway,
I bet this is based
one
in China
stanza
too,
in.
Listen, this is how we do this podcast. We get one sentence in, and then
I
we
will
have 8
flick
thoughts.
you right now.
Okay, but is it based in China?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. No sound of.
I'm just listening.
Yeah, you sat up real close to the mic and I got scared.
Are the Huns invading China?
Sit back. Fucking what?
No, read poetry.
So, no sound of the loom and shuttle, only that of a girl lamenting. Ask her of whom she thinks, ask her of whom she longs. There is no one I think of, there is no one I long for. Last night I saw the army notice, the Khan is calling a great draft. Khan, in this sense, is referring to the emperor. A dozen volumes of battle rolls, each one with my father's name. My father has no grown-up son, and I have no elder brother. I'm willing to buy a horse and saddle to go to battle in my father's place. She buys a fine steed at the East Market, a saddle and blanket at the West Market, a bridle at the South Market, and a long whip at the North Market. She takes leave of her parents at dawn to camp beside the Yellow River at dusk. No sound of her parents hailing their girl, just the rumbling waters of the Yellow River. She leaves the Yellow River at dawn to reach the Black Mountains by dusk. No sound of her parents hailing their girl, just the cries of barbarian cavalry in the Yon Hills. 10,000 miles she rode in war, crossing passes and mountains as if on a wing. On the northern air comes the century's gong, cold light shines on her coat of steel. The general dead after 100 battles, the warriors return after 10 years. They return to see the Son of Heaven, who sits in the Hall of Brilliance. The rolls of merit spin a dozen times, rewards in the hundreds and thousands. The Khan asks her what she desires. I've no need for the post of a gentleman official. I ask for the swiftest horse to carry me back to my hometown. Her parents hearing their girl return out to the suburbs to welcome her back. Elder sister hearing her sister returns, adjusts her rouge by the doorway. Little brother, hearing his sister returns, sharpens his knife for pigs and lamb. I open my east chamber door and sit on my west chamber bed. I take off my battle cloak and put on my old-time clothes. I adjust my wispy hair at the windowsill and apply my bisque makeup by the door. I step out to see my comrades in arms. They are all surprised and astounded. We traveled 12 years together, yet we didn't realize Mulan was a lady. The male hare wildly kicks its feet. The female hare has shifty eyes. But when the two hares run side by side, how can you tell the female from the male?
Okay. So that's like the whole story of Mulan right there. Mm-hmm. So it's actually like pretty accurate then.
Yeah, for the most part. The big thing I think is that it was 12 years.
Right, not like
6
a months.
Couple months.
Yeah.
So
and she doesn't get discovered during the campaign, or at least that's what the poem suggests.
That's what the poem suggests. Yeah, they don't realize until she's already back home.
Right.
So This is a quote. So that is the poem of the Tale of Mulan. That's it.
That's it? Is that
That's
all
all
that's
we
written
have.
about Mulan?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you did this episode then. And also explains why, while very interesting, we spent a lot of time in Japanese literature.
Yeah.
There was a moment where I was like, I am interested in this. And I do not know how this is Mulan. But I
wanted to
interested in
connect
this.
the warrior and the literature.